Hello, this is just intended to be a short vlog today about the Ubuntu phone. I bought mine back in April, and it was just the BQ Aquarius 4.5, which I have here. Now, my tripod is currently misplaced somewhere, and I don't multitask very well, so I can't do proper overhead things to show you what the system actually looks like. There'll be some screenshots sort of inserted here and there in the video, but as a whole, it's just meant to be a quick view of the phone. Actually, that's just the phone going off now with a text message. It's it's a good phone, I think, overall. Good system. Now, it's the first smartphone I've ever bought. First one I've ever used properly. Now, some people would say, why would you do that? Why don't you get an iPhone or anything? Now, don't get me wrong. iPhone, from what I've seen, what I've fiddled with, they're well put together. It's a good phone. You're not going to get crap from Apple. Well, you might get crap from Apple, but it's not. Well, I can't think how to finish that off really. You're not really going to end up with a substandard product from Apple. And some people say, why don't you get an Android? Now, I did toy with Android for quite a long time, and I did think of getting one of those for a while. But a friend of mine who uses Linux quite a lot, and he's had a few Android devices, he says, he told me it's quite hard to actually get the correct devices in one that can keep continually updating to the right version of Android. Some of them take certain versions and won't update beyond a certain version of the system. And Windows Phone, not many people I know have one. In fact, no one I know has one off the top of my head. It's just been too quiet. If they're good, there's not enough good praise about it. If they're that bad, I've not heard a lot of people rubbishing them. Now, I could have got an iPhone or something similar on contract if I wanted. I could have got a smartphone on a contract. Now, I used to have a Samsung C3050, an old slidey phone. I'd been using that for a long time. I'm just trying to remember when my parents bought it for me in 2011. I used that. That was on O2. I did have a £9 Vodafone handset as well, which I stopped using because the speaker on it was just rubbish. It was as bad as the one it was replacing because the speaker on the other one was going. And then I moved over to giffgaff on my friend's suggestion, and I've not looked back since going over to giffgaff. Now, the Ubuntu phone, like I say, I bought. It's just updated to version 27 today. I don't know what's changed in it. I updated it about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock this morning. What time it was? My girlfriend was getting up to go to work. I had the luxury of staying in bed. But let me try and break it down for people. Now, I've seen a few videos of unboxings of the Ubuntu phone and the Meizu, however you pronounce it, the superior handset, the new superior handset. Now, I will say straight away that the BQ, it's well put together. I've dropped it on a floor. This is a wooden floor. I've dropped it on the floor screen first a few times. It was surprising. It's wrong to say I was expecting it to have broken. I was expecting to have, the best way to describe it is a hissy fit afterwards. Sort of be a bit dazed and confused is probably the best way to put it. I know it's only a piece of technology, but you know, sometimes they don't react very well to being dropped, hit. Well, just plain old simple English, just abused basically. Now, when I first got the phone, this green light if that's flashing, I'm not sure if you can see that properly, informs you that there's a update it tells you there's an update for the phone. If you've set it up right, then you can get your Twitter feeds, Telegram, whatever, coming through, or text messages. That light actually used to be blue. There was a system update that changed the colour of it from blue to green. I can't remember what update it was. It was the same one that changed what the volume looked like, what the signal looked like on the top of the screen. Now, I really do like the scope system on the phone, so that that green light is annoying me. I will respond to my significant other in a few minutes. Now, I do like the scope system. Now, for me, the main thing I have on the phone, sorry, I'm all backwards. I have what is called the, what have I done there? I've accidentally gone to holidays. Haha. Yeah, I have the today screen as my home screen. You can accidentally sometimes remove it from your favourites, and I've again hit the holidays thing. You can sometimes accidentally remove it from your favourites, which is not always easy to then pull it back around to get it in the right place. Most commonly, most people probably have the apps as the home screen, and I got quite a few on there. Amazon came pre-installed there because it came from Spain. There are a few Spanish apps on there. The calendar came pre-installed. eBay came pre-installed. The Facebook app was already on there. Here Maps was on there. Now Here Maps worked better for me than Google Maps did when I got lost when I was driving somewhere. Now I didn't pull over. I didn't use it on the go. I pulled over and had to turn it on because that's well, my opinion is all mobile devices just to know when you're driving. No talking, no texting, no whatever the fuck you're doing. Put them down and drive. And if your life is that busy that you have to text and drive, get your fucking priorities sorted. Right. Anyway. Now there are quite a few good apps on there. There are a few that I'm surprised didn't come with. For instance, the Torch app. It's a torch. Ahaha. UTorch. And I can get it to go. Hey, you can see the light coming on in the background, and then lights off. Now, you can obviously do that to try and to then see what windows you got open. Pull down to exit out your tab. It's similar many ways to the iPhone where you double tap the button in the middle. Sorry, been off work recently with chest issues and shortness of breath. So if I do suddenly come across a bit breathless on and off, I am aware of it. I'm seeking medical attention, signed off work for it, so don't worry that I'm sort of going to do something dumb. Now, aside from say something dumb, now it's a good. Overall, it's a good device. I can't fault it really. The one thing I will say that I do have problems with this phone, occasionally, is it'll have a monumental hissy fit. And I can't understand why. It's not like I haven't given it loads of commands to do, so I haven't tried exiting and then going in and out of several apps at the same time. It's not a multitasking issue. It's not an app that I know causes a problem. It's had hissy fits when I've been using the Scrabble app, when me and my girlfriend has been, well, nothing better to do, but just or sort of quietly before going to sleep, having a quiet game of Scrabble, or morning game of Scrabble when we don't want to get out of bed in the morning. But it's not anything like that. There's one app on here that I don't like too much, which I downloaded, was the GPS app. Now the GPS app, let me see if I can get it to, if I can get it loaded up as we speak. The GPS app is it's UNAV, is what they call it. Probably Ubuntu navigation. It's a bit of a strange one. I mean, that's just after initial loading. It's like, well, it's just sort of loaded up Europe, which is a bit odd. Let me see if I can get it to find my location. It's found my location eventually. It's not been as quick. I will say that the Apple device, it'll find you much quicker. And this doesn't, the GPS won't work without any sort of data turned on. Whether it's Wi-Fi or mobile, it just can't do it, doesn't like it. When I got lost, I was driving to a friend of mine. He lives near York, lives out in a village near it. I got spectacularly lost. Put on the mobile data. Now it could be an O2 and giff-gaff thing, who knows? But when I got lost, the UNAV could not place where I was. Google Maps couldn't find where I was. It was Here Maps that found me, but it put me to. It was accurate to something like, was it? I can't remember if it was 1,000 or 750 meters. It was quite a large distance. It was out by. So there've been some pros and cons with it. Now I'm not the most prolific smartphone user. I do like to check my Facebook sometimes on the go. Sometimes someone sends me an email for something on the go. It's been, like I said, I'm not the most prolific smartphone user. I can't stand Instagram. I don't tweet as often as I used to. Facebook, I check it. It's always open on my browser because, well, I'm a creature of habit. I open everything's opened up from exactly where it was the previous time. There've been, but like I said, there's been some occasions where it's been really handy having it. The Facebook app, it's not an official app, a bit like how it is on the iPhones and the Android and the Windows. It is basically just a web version of it, but sort of in an app form. So it basically takes you directly there. And even then, it looks like someone's freaked it out of an Android version. Now, for those people who don't know tech, Linux is the third way when it comes to computer operating systems. You got Windows, Apple, Linux. Android sort of slowly trying to get in there, but those are the main three, the big three. Now, Ubuntu is a Linux operating system, so this is one of the world's first. It's the world's first Linux phone. What some people say, well, Android actually is, or have you know, like it's a derivative of Linux. It's not pure Linux, whereas this is pure Linux. I've always liked the Ubuntu computer system. I haven't used it for quite a long time myself. Last time I used it was, I used both. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, Xubuntu, Subuntu. I used that quite a lot when I had a dead old laptop for some uni work, simply because it was not always convenient to try and get a computer at the library. But I didn't always need the internet. It was just basically a bog standard Linux lightweight system that I could just type away on. Actually, it did have some internet access, so it could just about get online at the uni if I needed it, but it could do it. I also used Ubuntu up to 9.1 or 9.10, I think is what they call it. And I also used Kubuntu, which is the KDE environment, not on the GNOME or the GNOME, Genome, however you want to pronounce it. It's not on that environment, it's KDE versus GNOME. It's a bit like Mac versus Windows in that, in many ways. Now, Ubuntu system for me, I can't fault it. It's, on the computers, it is something that all the mainstream manufacturers need to be nervous of, because I think if Ubuntu can crack it, and I think Ubuntu will be the first people to crack, it's wrong to say commercially viable Linux, because Linux is open source, it's free, in theory, it's free, everyone can do what they want, but I think Ubuntu might be the first people to get more recognition than people like Mint or Mandariva or Red Hat, I think is the other big one. Red Hat used to have some. Was it Red Hat? There was a Linux version Linux system used to be able to install in PS3 before they patched it out. Now, the phone has got the same interface as similar interface as the desktop. So it's all part of their Ubuntu One, I think it's what it's called. There's one, I can't remember what it is, but it's something like Ubuntu Unity, something like that. The Unity interface where it's all the same across all systems, which I think is a good thing. I will admit, when I bought the phone, I thought it was going to shame the iPhone a lot more than it does. The iPhone is a £400-500 device. This cost me €196, which is converted into sterling is about £145 delivered. So in that sense, you're comparing roughly £150 versus a £400 to £500 device. It is not going to kick its ass. It is not going to. The iPhone is never going to bow down to Linux. Now, I've not really used an Android device myself, so I can't really say where it stands in relation to that. The system itself, obviously, because it's brand new, there are a lot of updates. Like I say, it's updated to version 27 today. Last time it updated was back in September, off the top of my head. It was either July or September. It last had a major systems update for it. They're all about. The good thing is when it's on Wi-Fi, it downloads so fast. But that's probably more a connection thing. I'm lucky to have a 50 megs connection here myself. With Virgin Media and other people, obviously, if they've got bigger connections, they'll obviously their smartphones, if they're on Wi-Fi, should be able to download in a similar fashion. If they've got plenty of data in a good spot, then they'll be able to download just as fast. The phone has had some strange updates, as in some of the apps themselves have puzzled me with the updates. Like the calendar has needed an update, the clock has needed an update, the calculator has needed an update. Now, for those three, there have been some visual overhauls, but when there's been no visual overhaul, it sort of puzzled me as to why they've needed an update, because some people go, it's a clock, you can whatever, just general insult to it. Now, what they may have done is some simple code revision, i.e. made it do the same job better with fewer lines of code, which if they have done that, and that's the main reason behind the update, then, you know, you can't fault them for doing that. A lot of the apps I have, as I mentioned, they're not true apps. They're not, it's not like, say for instance, pick a bank off the top of my head, not one I do my work for or affiliated with. Lloyd's, for example, which I know there is an app on here for it. For instance, if you bank with Lloyd's or TSB or Lloyd's TSB as it was, there's no official app as it that you could get, like you can get for your other phones. As in, it just takes you straight to your banking app with your bank and transfer, see your mortgage, loans, credit cards, whatever you've got with them, or your bank account, of course. It's not like that. It takes you to a web version of it. I've got it for Barclaycard on here because I thought Barclaycard, aha, it will just take me to this and I can make a payment on the go, check my balance, blah, 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 blah. No, it's just basically someone has made an app which takes you directly to the website, which then takes you to the mobile version of it, which it's a bit disconcerting. It's more the fact it's not an official app. Now, I can't expect all the banks and all the major organisations to start developing for a phone that has a very small user interface. I mean, I think this is probably, there's not many, where I am in the northeast, I would be surprised if there's more than 10 of these, mine included. I would have thought, I don't think I doubt I'd be the only one, because there is a Ubuntu users group in Newcastle, or there used to be, and there used to be a Linux users group. Again, I think I was in Newcastle. There might be one in Darlington as well. But you know, there's also the universities up here that do Linux as part of their courses. Will it go on general sale? Will it still, or will it be something you have to buy off MySU, BQ, or if Ubuntu open up their own store if they haven't done so already, if it's not available just directly through them? I don't know. I don't think there is the demand for it. I bought it when I did because, let's say, I've been using a slide phone for so long. I was not on a smartphone at all. I'm usually what I would call myself fairly quite tech savvy. I mean, this computer I built, 21 gigahertz. It's a 6-core AMD computer with which comes to about 21 gigahertz and total 8 gigs of RAM, hybrid hard drive, 2 gigs graphics card, etc. So I'm not a tech twat, if you know what I mean. I'm not a tech dunce. You can't. There have been some devices, like when my girlfriend had a Windows 8 laptop, and when my dad had a Windows 8 computer. The only time I've ever felt like a tech dunce is when that was placed in front of me, like, But I think that was what everyone felt with Windows 8. So not entirely my fault, but I'm not exactly immune. I'm not, like I said, not a tech idiot. I've also got a MacBook as well. Twiddled with Linux systems in the past too. This didn't come with any instructions. It came in a Spanish box. I've misplaced the box since moving in. Well, I haven't lost it. I've filed it, and I can't remember where it is. I think it's somewhere in the drawer, in the cupboard door that opened during the technical difficulties part of the video. But it's nice and intuitive to use. I like how it's all gestures. It's all motion. Now, I know a lot of smartphones are also all gestures and motion. They don't have the buttons on, because the only things this has on the side is the power button and obviously the volume button, which if you press both sides becomes either take a picture. Well, it can take a picture, but it mostly just takes a screenshot of itself. Now, overall, like I say, I can't complain about it. Cover, I also bought from BQ. I did think it was going to be one of those, you know, the magnetic covers you can get for iPads or I think it's in a lot of Galaxy phones with it, where when you put it over it, this is just a bit of leather with probably a piece of cardboard in there, something cheap. But it also works quite nicely to see what you're doing. The only thing is, it's got the hole in the middle on the cover. Now, I always thought it might be the plan for the system to go this way anyway. But you might have seen a few times. Well, you've seen a few times I've had the screen open. It's got that circle in the middle, which at the moment says no text sent today. Which, you know, you can double tap it. It says no songs played today, no bubbles popped today, which is nice, and it's emulation. I downloaded the bubble popping game out of boredom, just to bubble wrap, because who doesn't like popping bubble wrap? but that could be nice and motivational. That no one's popped your bubble today. You're still full of optimism today, sport. But yeah, it's got quite a few things on there telling you what you've done or not done, stats on the phone. You can turn that off, so it's just a circle in the middle. It's also, I guess it would also be handy to find out if someone has borrowed your phone. You can find out what they've done. So if like, hang on, I haven't. If it says 2 videos recorded today, like, hang on, I haven't recorded anything at all. I actually haven't used the video function on it, so I don't know how well it records. But I thought, you see on the here, it's got the clock there. Now someone's making an app that moves the clock into there, which I always thought was what it was meant to do, because then it's handy on the go. Sort of pull out your pocket, like, oh, what's the time? Oh, time is there. If you're the sort of person who doesn't wear a watch, like, well, I do, because I'm an idiot. Now, let's say, there are a few things I thought it could do, which maybe it can. I just might be being a bit dumb and can't find it. The notifications, my Twitter will come through on the phone when I've got tweeted to, or had a reply to a tweet I've posted, but it won't tell me Facebook feed, which I thought it was meant to be able to. Maybe I haven't set the phone up correctly to do that. Who knows? Maybe I need to put it into developer mode, which I'm not going to do because I use the phone daily. You know, if I'm on the phone on my mobile, I'm on a Linux phone. If I'm texting my girlfriend, texting someone, I'm on a Linux phone. If I'm answering the phone for Premier North Medical, at the moment, calls are forwarded to this. I don't know whether it will, like I say, I don't know whether it will hit general distribution. If it does, it's good for Ubuntu. I don't think it will be popular enough to sell though. They might shift 50 units every 2 or 3 months. So maybe not. They may not even shift 25 units. I don't think they would shift 10 units a month. Maybe I could be completely wrong, but I don't think they will. The phone is just, you don't want it to be that different and that flashy, because if it's that flashy, it's going to be nicked. And that everyone runs the risk of having their phone nicked. It doesn't matter whether it's a Ubuntu phone, iPhone, Windows Phone, Vodafone's answer to the smartphone. There's in their sort of self-branded cheap phones. No one is immune to having their phone acquired, legally or illegally. So where forwards for Ubuntu really? This is meant to be a short video. We're nearly knocking on for half an hour. Bloody hell. Where for Ubuntu? I mean, Skype apparently working on an app, which would be nice to sort of Skype people on the go, not always having to sit in front of the computer to do it. Hopefully someone will make some more official apps. Where the bank I work for, I've asked them to see if they can start making an app for this, because, well, they'll be the first people to do it, unless someone else has cracked it in the meantime. And like I say, it's a bit disconcerting having someone else has made... There's no malice involved from the people, or as far as I'm aware, there's no malice involved from the people who've made the banking apps that exist on the phone, the third-party ones. It's just sort of a quickly make an icon that redirects you to the mobile version of the site. There's your app. Which, like I said, I can't complain. You can't complain that someone's put that together, but the average Joe, some of the average Joes in the street, they're not going to clock and know. They're going to be a bit skeptical, because I'm sometimes skeptical still about using the Barclaycard app. But yeah, a lot of things have started out, so even on the web, when you use the main version of the website, you can't get that information if someone's logged in. They can request it and change it and be an arsehole, but at most someone can pay my £1,600 off that I currently own the Barclaycard. Car insurance will do that to you. I haven't connected it to anything Bluetooth because, well, there's people don't use Bluetooth as much as they did. I don't have in my car. I don't have a fancy car system to attach this to, Bluetooth recognition, etc. Because I don't need it, I don't want it, and I think, as far as I'm aware, I think the Road Traffic Act is going to change shortly, so no mobile devices can be used whilst driving. And personally, I think that's the way forward, but that's something for us to have a mass debate about another time. Rude pun. So yeah, I can't fault it. I'm happy I bought it. I don't know, I think it was flash sale number 4 or 5 I bought this in, so it's been around for quite a while. Someone can tell me what flash sale it was in April, then fine. Like I say, I can't fault it. It's well put together for me. The one downside I have been finding occasionally, the battery life is very good. I have had myself a record of 120. That was the last change. 123 hours between charges. I don't remember if I took a screenshot of it, but certainly I've got screenshots of 118 hours between charges. But as I say, I'm not a prolific smartphone user, so it's just sort of sat idling. What it has done a few times, and this is regardless of the version it's had, is it sometimes, I don't know what happens to the phone, but if you look at the battery graph, because I'll have inserted somewhere in this video sort of clips of what the battery life chart looks like. It's basically green, it's basically like a line graph really. Tracks it going down, and then red, obviously, battery's nearly gone. There have been some occasions where I've been charging it and then or been using it, or it's been sat idle. Battery life sort of been not doing anything or been coming down at such a slow level. Then there's just a vertical line where it's just discharged, and I can't get to the bottom of what has happened there. Now, if other Ubuntu phone users, if they watch this, I'm not bothered if they do or don't. I'm just putting this out there for if someone else with a Ubuntu phone is interested, then we can see. But yeah, I don't know why it does it. It's often done it to me overnight when it's been idle, which has been annoying because I used the thing as my alarm clock. I haven't tried it with a SD card in it because, well, when I'm walking around, I still use a standard MP3 player I bought with my second lot of pay from my first job. But if that ain't broke, don't fix it. So there's not really a lot more I can say about it. I might do an update at the year point, and sort of probably go on about the same things, but we'll see. Like I say, it's a good device. I like it. I'm happy I bought it. My girlfriend, who has an iPhone, she's got a 5C. She is tempted enough to, if a couple of the apps that she uses have made it onto the Ubuntu phone by then, she said she will very much consider getting one. And there's also one that she might also jump up to the 5-inch screen rather than 4.5, because, well, neither of us are exactly thin, and we've not exactly got the smallest of fingers. And I do sometimes think that's half the problem when I'm walking and texting. It doesn't like sometimes being walked. When you're walking and texting, it sometimes finds it hard to get the words right, sometimes hard to get the auto-predict right. But that said, there are some things I can't give, if someone's interested, is seriously considering getting the phone, there are some things I can't give a yes or no answer to, because it might just simply be, to quote Sarge from Red vs. Blue, I'm sure it's user error. That's just a really bad impression of him. In short, there are probably quite a few things that I find I have difficulties with on the phone. That's just me not using it properly. So, hats off, but in short, I'll get to the end of this because, like I said, I've rambled on for over half an hour now. In short, Ubuntu, you've done a fantastic job with the phone. Next, I want to see a tablet, because that's the only tablet computer I would buy. I can't, personally, I cannot stand tablet devices. I can't fault the iPad. I just don't like it. It's long and short of it. I'm not saying it's crap, it's this, and that. I can't fault them. I just don't like them. But Ubuntu, keep making more apps. Try and get more people on board to make official apps for it. And particularly, I think it's best to focus on an official Facebook app, an official Twitter app. People want to insta-shite the shit out of things, so insta-shite, that's what I call Instagram. YouTube app could probably do being a bit better. It's just mostly a lot of the core apps that people use. So like Facebook, like I said, the social networking ones really, and there's no Snapchat one. I don't use Snapchat. I don't really understand what it is. As I understand it, it's picture I'm doing this, lol. That's it. But yeah, it could do with sort of completing the whatever trinity you want to call of all the social networking. The YouTube app could probably be a bit better. A few interface issues probably could be made better. I appreciate there are a few things. It's to keep with the spirit of being Linux and free to make what changes you want, but there are a few things you want locked in. Like for instance, I could uninstall the clock if I wanted. Don't know why you'd want to uninstall the clock. I don't know why you'd want to uninstall the calculator. I don't know why you'd want to uninstall the app home screen, which I believe that is possible. I'm sure I saw a setting for that the other day. So there are a few things that they probably need to lock in to stop people changing. Obviously, when it becomes more, in short, it's just a beta product, really, isn't it? So when it becomes more like the final version, they'll probably remove the developer mode off it, or you can buy two. One is with developer mode built in, and one is without. But Who knows? But yeah, keep going. The BQ device itself, as many people said, it's not the most up-to-date of devices, so Ubuntu probably could do with getting a stronger device in place for it. That's probably what's why they've gone with the Meizu, isn't it? But they need a cheaper but better phone in the works. I might upgrade to the Meizu whenever this one decides to pack in, but I'm a person who only buys things when broken or when they're on their way out. So yeah, overall Ubuntu, keep it going, keep the development going, get a tablet made. I'll give an update on the phone at about a year because the phone should probably be on version 30 by then, or 35, depending how frequently they put the updates out. If it's on a higher version than 35, then I'd be astounded. I'm sure it's overdue another visual overhaul like it was originally. Well, like the ones that they've done. I'm not sure what they were prior to. I think I got in at 15, I think it was. So I've had quite a few updates on it. But yeah, overall, Ubuntu, keep it going. I'll buy another device off you. And like I say, make a tablet, please, so I can buy a tablet off you. But in the meantime, look after yourselves. I apologise for rambling on for a long time. And like I say, if you're needing first aid training, particularly if you're in the north of England, so from Sheffield, basically all the way up to the Scottish border, really, email info@premiernorth.co.uk or go to premiernorth.co.uk, submit your request through. We'll see what we can take care of yourselves, and we'll see you whenever we see you.